Hello, how's it going? I hope you're doing well and that you're having an amazing day. Thank you for giving me a few moments of your time. I've been stoked to post where I am with my Kat Von D Vida Loca remix palette because I'm figuring out a new normal right now, just with life being crazy, and I'm reprioritizing everything in my life because I've been needed to help at my kids' school. I'm also back in school myself, and so for filming, I haven't had as much time as I'd like, as I'm, like I said, reprioritizing. So I owe you a couple of get ready with me's, but the reality of it is, I liked those looks that I came up with for the get ready with me's, but they weren't looks I liked enough to stick with. Like they were kind of, they fit my mood for the moment. So they're coming. Thank you so much for being patient with me. So those will be posted, but really I've just been going for this everyday neutral eye because I've been very focused on kind of closing out the items I chose for the hashtag It's Been Emotional Project Pan. So if you're curious how all of those makeup things have gone, I have used everything from my September makeup bag. So I'll go on and link that up here in the card above if you are interested, as well as the description box below, and I'll talk about kind of how I incorporated everything in a couple of days when I post the recap of that. So I have had a little bit of a change to my palette. I'll go on and talk about those things. So let me show you back where I was in August with my Kat Von D Vida Loca remix, and then we'll talk about where I am right now. Okay, and here she is. I'm kind of feeling like I'm making the progress that I want. There's a lot of product here, but I do feel like I want to kind of have a month where I'm solidly back in my palette again, because I mean, I've completely accepted the fact that I'm probably not going to finish by the end of December, but I'm at the point where I've incorporated so many other shades from other palettes that I don't feel like I'm making the traction that I would have before. So, I kind of want to talk about the most recent shade that I finished was Muse up here. I adored this lilac shade. I mixed it in with shimmery whites to kind of give me a little bit more of a purple vibe to my highlighting color. I use it in my inner corner on my brow bone. In fact, I've made a Frankenshade mix using Old Bare Mineral shadows and, just kind of some old shadows from my collection to make an exact dupe. So this is a very similar color, a little bit darker than Muse was, but I am wearing it today mixed with Strange from my Naked 3, and I'm getting the same effect all over the skin. So also I was kind of thinking if you have the Becca Amethyst Prismatic highlighter, that's quite similar as well. It's definitely more on the shimmery white side, but it's kind of similar to the highlight vibe I'm going using, mixing a shade like this in with a shimmery white. So I'm very stoked to have finally finished that shade. I've been working hard on it. I'm also continuing to work hard on Echo. Is this like my third or fourth month, I think? If you've been following the videos, I think it's been 3 or 4 months that I've been using this shadow every single day on my lower lash line. I'm finally at the point where I'm at the end. I just need to keep kind of going for it. And then also I've been using a lot of Anthem. If you're interested in putting together this Get Ready With Me, it's a modification on that Lorac Pro inspired Get Ready With Me. I'll go on and link that in the card and the description box as well, because I just wanted something easy, go-to. And so what I've done with Anthem is instead of kind of using a pink to blend out the crease, I'm using Anthem to give me a little bit more of a purple vibe. It is really, really fun, easy, and gives me kind of a fall-inspired look since purples are coming back into, to being on trend, but also give me a very neutral eye to wear on an everyday basis. If you're using this Kat Von D palette and you want to recreate something like this, the shades that I would use would be Anthem, Echo, Legend, which was that really light gold. I would bring in a mauve tone from the rest of your collection and then kind of a pewtery shade. And then I would go through with Black Metal in the outer corner. Since I've got a black shadow, I'm actually using my Lorac Pro 2 palette. It's super easy to recreate. So it's kind of a warm, romantic, feminine, easy, smoky eye that's not just a brown eyeshadow if you're curious. So this is kind of where I am with the palette. I'm honestly thinking next month I want to do I want to do a couple more get ready with me's. Like I said, I owe you a look using Anthem and kind of a cranberry shade and Love, because that was another shade. This one I'm not liking. And that's part of the reason I didn't want to stick with the look, because it doesn't have a lot of pigmentation. I ended up having to foil it, which is why I made the progress that I did. But it does work pretty well foiled on the lid. So like I said, when that get ready with me is coming, it's one that I like for a couple of days in a row, but then after that I'm kind of over it. But it did give me some progress in this. And I also want to make a look using more of Synth and Hyper Ballad, but I'm kind of wanting to go back to my warm red smoky eye that I used when I went through Rewind. I've got a backup pan of Raw Power from Kat Von D, and I want to just finish it, enjoy it, use it, because I'm also wanting to go through and use as much of Analog as I can. I want to use Dark Wave again, and so I'm kind of back and forth on what I'm going to do for October. But until we get to the end of this month, I'm really going to be focused in on these purples, because that really works well for the hashtag It's Been Emotional Project Pan. So it's been kind of a weird month. Like I've been all over the place a little bit, and like I said, since life has been kind of crazy, I wanted to just focus in, and I'm really super motivated right now that I just want to pan. I want to pan and I want to finish things. In fact, I'm pretty stoked for the makeup bag recap at the end of this month, because I've been able to make quite a bit of progress in the other eyeshadows that I've chosen and move out some more makeup. And so it's just like the urge is there. I want to finish, and I'm kind of, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet to answer your question about what palette I'm going to choose, or which palette I'm going to choose for next year, because I feel like right now it's kind of a little too early to tell, just in watching what's going to be on trend. I have a feeling that cool tones are going to be back in vogue for next year, so I don't want to just pick a palette right now, whether it's going to be colorful eyeshadow palette or a neutral palette or a combination thereof, or even going through and finishing some shadows that I've already hit pan in. That's another idea I'm kind of dabbling with, because I'm really kind of wanting to just move out some packaging, move out the eyeshadows, move out the packaging, move on with the new. In fact, thank you so much for yesterday. I reached out on Facebook because I was super tempted to buy the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, because Ulta had it on the 21 Days of Beauty for what, $25. I didn't buy it. Thank you so much for your motivation and encouragement. I went so back and forth with that palette, because I did enjoy panning it last year, even though it had its ups and downs. I mean, every palette does. That's part of the deal. But I really found so much versatility in it, and I have to admit, out of all the neutral palettes I've ever panned, that would probably be the one palette that I would repurchase, because I was able to use it as bronzer, as contour, as an eyebrow filler, as highlighting. I fell in love with different eye combinations, even with the crap shades like Gilded Ganache. I mean, I finally figured out how to make it work, and I realized what was like super triggering me is I really want like burgundy eyeshadows back in my life. So, because I miss Cherry Cordial, I miss Black Forest Truffle. I really loved those shades. I could do, you know, without Amaretto, but, you know, I really loved Cherry Cordial and Gilded Ganache. So that was kind of a weird moment, but thank you for helping to talk me out of it, because I really just needed that encouragement, and I'm thinking that's why I kind of need to jump back into a warm red smoky eye for October, to just kind of get that itch out of my system. So that was kind of interesting. I hadn't had that happen before in panning, you know, panning the palettes, because I mean, Emily mentioned this to me and made me remember about it, but after I panned the Naked palette, my sister actually re-gifted the Naked palette I'd purchased for her, and at first I was excited about it, and then I had it home for a couple of days, and I was like, you know what, I can't do it after panning that palette for a year and just kind of going through my ups and downs, and I finally sold it. And I think I'd probably feel that way about the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, but there was like a huge part of me yesterday that was like really wanting it. So thank you for being my, you know, additional voices of reason to be like, girl, stop, just stop. So I really appreciate it. So that about wraps it up for right now. Thank you once again for giving me a few minutes of your time. I hope that you're enjoying panning your palette, that you're enjoying riding the wave. We're in the final push of the year, even though we do have a couple of months left. We got time, but at the same time, the light at the end of the tunnel is kind of there. So it's you know, the ideal opportunity to really push for a strong finish. And I'm kind of feeling it getting back into this palette. If I go with the red look, I'm working with 3 shades again. If I do the blue look and pan it with some regularity, there's a Franken-Shadow that I've made mixing the Fran shade with the brown, and then I can go in with the blues and the teals and really just make some progress. But I figure any progress is going to be great progress from this point going forward. So I hope that you continue to enjoy riding the wave with me and get through this palette and have some fun at shopping your stash with your own eyeshadows. So that about wraps it up. I do look forward to getting some more videos out to you as I have a little bit more time to sit down and film. But like I said, with being in school, you know, it's taken a lot out of me in terms of like getting back into the groove with studying and you know, getting my classwork done and all that. And so it's a lot. It's a lot. It's been a long time since I've been in college. Now going back into it, it's kind of like, oh, I'd forgotten. I'd forgotten all those sorts of things, but it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. So take care, and I look forward to catching up with you real soon. So see you later.